Welcome to Syntax. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Front End Happy Hour podcast.
Welcome to this week's JS Party.
Live from Shipshape Studios, this is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot, with your hosts, Robbie the Wagner and me, Charles William Carpenter III.
That's right, Charles. We drink whiskey and talk about web development. I mean, it's all in the name. It's not that deep.
This is Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot. Do not adjust your set.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Whiskey, Web, and Whatnot, which you might have heard the past few were Wine, Web, and Whatnot. But we are back. We are back with.
I really hope Todd isn't listening on the live stream right now.
I'm sure he has nothing else to do.
We have nothing but
watching
respect for you. Thank you. I know what the rules are. Holidays.
Yeah. So, yes, we have a special guest with us, Angie Jones. What's going on, Angie?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming on. Would you like to give a few sentences about who you are and what you do?
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. I'm Angie Jones. I'm the head of developer relations for TBD, which is a business unit in Block, formerly known as Square. So we're a fintech company, and my business unit focuses on open source technologies to help move money across countries. So cross-border money movement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you hiring?
We're not right now.
I just asked for Chuck. I'm looking out for him.
Yeah. You would never hire Robbie, but I think we could make magic together.
Yeah. Anyway, you want to tell us about the whiskey? Chuck?
Sure. Yes. So today's special whiskey is we're bringing it back to a couple of years ago. Robbie and I made a barrel pick at Sagamore Rye. This is a barrel proof, and normally I would read and hold this up. But it's 110 proof.
Oh, wow.
Let's see here. So that's 55%. Mash bill is rye. And I don't recall if it's age stated.
It is. I think the little tag right there says
maybe
age
7 years.
Mm.
Yes, there you go. Aged 7 years. So, it's one near and dear and special to us. You're not local here, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I used to live here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Not anymore.
We'll talk about the rest of that offline, but just curious. All righty. Let me pour for the lady first.
Okay. Thank
Can't
you.
see. I don't know where we're going, but hopefully that's enough. I just fill up the cup. Is that good or no?
Yeah, if you want to be dead, that's a great amount.
Yeah.
Oh, that smells so good.
Well, what we're going to do next is, I know you're an avid listener of the show, but just for the others who may be listening now, so we will smell it and do a taste. We'll do a rating of it just based on your own context. It's not that serious, but it is 0 to 8 tentacles. So 0 being horrible, I never want this again. 4 is middle of the road. 8 was amazing, clear the shelves. Feel free to categorize it any way you want. Robbie and I have had so many whiskeys, so we tend to be like, oh, this is rye, so compared to other ryes and whatever else. You can push it together with whiskeys or just alcohol and drinking in general.
Okay.
There are no rules there. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm smelling heavy notes of the cup disintegrating with this in it. Tell me if you're
110
also
proof.
getting that.
Imagine what it does to
This is a
intestine.
compostable
Yeah. But imagine what it's doing to you internally, potentially, at that. I don't know. I do wonder from time to time, but never enough to stop drinking. So
Yeah.
that's the funny
Okay.
aspect of it.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I actually smell?
There is a little cup smell there, so you're not totally wrong.
Yeah.
The plastic kind of gets to you, but I don't know. Are you picking up any other notes, Angie?
I smell like a hint of sweet.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It smells really good. It really
Yeah.
does. I can't stop smelling it.
Yeah, it's
It's like really good.
It's
Yeah,
a
some
woody
toasted
honey.
marshmallow?
Yeah, maybe it's more of that because I'm
Ooh.
getting like a toasty sugar, and I was gonna say just kind of wood and honey, but toasted marshmallow makes more sense to me. Yes. Take a sippy sip. Okay.
All right.
Don't be scared.
Oh, wow. I think it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Does not taste like the cup, so that's good.
So the first drink kind of primes your salivatory glands to start kind of coming up and getting you this protection and coat from heavy alcohol.
Oh.
So then you'll get some of that burn. So you give that a second, and then you can kind of come back.
Then you
for
can
your
come
second.
back?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, wow. The body's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
It's so smart in how it
Yeah.
protects itself.
You're right. It wasn't a bang the second time.
Yeah, it's just fun.
We learned that at Greenbrier.
Yeah, in Nashville. Yeah, we went and we
Wow.
were doing a distillery tour, and one of their things they're tasting. That was what, maybe 3-4 years ago? I'm 47.
Yeah, back when we had a
just learned.
successful business, I think.
Well, there's that. We do have one. It's called Whiskey Web and Whatnot.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah, success is relative.
Yes, smoother. For 110 proof, you would expect a lot more punch into
Yeah.
your system,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's got a nice hug and burn, but nothing that's like prohibitive to enjoying.
Yeah, a little bit of Big Red in there, maybe.
Cinnamon kind of
soda.
thing. Yes.
No, listen. No, I'm just
No,
kidding. Just
I'm
kidding.
saying. Wait, do you know Big Red the soda? He makes fun of me
Yeah,
every
I
single
know Big
time.
Red.
Yeah, I'm
The
like,
soda?
I say Big
Not the
Red the
gum?
soda.
The soda.
I've never seen the soda. Where did you
Sweet.
get the soda?
Thank you for the
Okay,
support.
all right,
It's
all right.
emotional support, a little bit, because he makes fun of me every time. And I'm like, it's a thing. I grew up in northern Kentucky, like Cincinnati area. We
Okay.
had Big Red soda.
Where'd you grow up?
Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's just a slightly more west thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Midwest to
Yeah.
the coast. Yeah, I'm not
The,
there. Not
the
to
entire
to
Mississippi
Gulf.
River gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Ohio connects to the Mississippi right on down.
Yeah.
And that is the birth of the bourbon trade. Yes, so the whiskey up from Kentucky, they were trying to sell it downriver. I don't remember how the charred barrel thing happened, but the aging started to happen because they were just tons of corn around there. They were making spirits. People started to hear about Kentucky whiskey and kind of wanted to try it more. And the trade was all the way down the Mississippi River. And even in just the short time that it would take to ship it down, it would age some in the barrels. And it was
wow.
better when it got down south. And so they were like, wait a
Like
minute,
that.
maybe there's something to that. And that just kind of started that whole industry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Fun fact. This is rye, though, so it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
But the whole yeah. Do we want to give it a rating?
I think we should. Do you mind going first? Just because we've had this a
Okay,
couple of
I'll
times
go
now?
first, but I will also say that I'm not a whiskey drinker, so I don't have much to compare it to. But I'm from New Orleans.
Yeah.
We know booze, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it a 6, actually.
I think that's pretty solid. But
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure we've rated this before, and I don't remember what it was, but I'd probably a 7 or
context
so.
matters
Yeah.
anyway. I'm not afraid of my previous reviews.
It's
and
less
always
good in this cup for
Yeah,
sure.
it
This
does
cup
take-
is not the best. Yeah.
I like that it's got some punch. If I'd not had like part of 2 bottles of wine preceding this, like I'd get real happy that I was crushing that and like starting the drinking this way. But that's not the whiskey's fault. I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. Like I think in spite of all of that, I don't know, 7.5 to 8.
Oh,
Like this is
wow.
great.
Wow.
I would, well, I have recommended
shelf,
this
huh?
whiskey in general, like the Sagamore Rye, like which is like $40 you can get all the time. Now this
Very
is a barrel
approachable.
pick.
Yeah.
This is a whole extra special one. That said, I've not had one from them that hasn't been good. So this is elevating even their normal expression.
Okay.
I'm going to say 8. Here you go, people.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I trust my own flavor palette and pick. So
Well, technically,
maybe.
I picked it.
You did.
So that's
Oh,
a compliment.
right.
Thank
That's
you.
true. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, you
I
didn't
take
even
it all
taste
back.
it.
I'll take it all back.
4.
Yeah, it's a 4 actually. Robbie can't be trusted. Only talk to me. But anyway,
Ugh.
that's true. I'd like I remember when you were first drinking Sagamore a bunch, and I was like Baltimore whiskey. Like I don't know, man. What are you Yanks trying to do here? Like you can't do it. Eventually tried it myself. I was like, yeah, this is good. Okay, I must acquiesce on this, and I don't know. Here we are. I just gave it an 8.
All right.
Wow.
All right.
Man.
So what I am curious about is how would I buy this with a JSON web token?
Ooh.
Yes, I'm very curious about that.
Yes. Okay, get into the good stuff. So, you know that JSON Web Tokens, JOTs, are typically used for like authorization on a website, right? Signing in.
Yep.
So, once you sign in, the server will, maybe give a JOT to your clients who could then reuse that on subsequent requests to the server, so you don't have to authenticate every time you send a request to the server. So W3C has come up with a open standard called verifiable credentials.
Okay.
And these verifiable credentials are basically a special type of JOT
Okay.
that's in the payload part of the JOT. The JOT has 3 parts: the header, the payload, the signature. The payload part is just JSON, right? And so you can put whatever you want in that JSON. And verifiable credentials uses that JSON part to make claims about someone,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So have you all heard of mobile driver's licenses? This is relatively new.
Yeah,
There's-
seen it in a couple
Like
places.
the-
Yeah, a couple of places.
Yeah, like you mean just on your
phone.
app?
Just a mobile driver's license.
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
There's
I have one.
13. You have one?
Yeah.
What state are you
Arizona.
in? Okay, there's 13 states right now
Okay.
in the U.S. And every time I tell someone this, I have to like raise the number because it's increasing pretty quickly. But there's 13 states right now in the United States that have mobile driver's licenses. I'm in Louisiana, and we were one of the first ones. And we actually, if I must say, we don't get a lot of things right, but we got this one. We got this one right. We had a company that built an entire app, so a mobile driver's license app, but it contains a lot of stuff. So this is a private company that's connected to our government. They worked hand in hand with the government to build this solution out. But they have real-time government data about me.
Oh.
So say, for example, if I wanted to order that whiskey from a delivery service app, DoorDash or something like that, right? Instacart or something. Then they need to know that I'm of legal drinking age, 21. But
be
how do
useful.
I provide that information? Right now, it's really hard to do that with just your physical ID. Like, either you got to take a picture and upload it, or the delivery driver needs to verify your ID when they get there. I feel like that's a lot of pressure on a delivery driver who like
The humans are flawed, right?
humans are flawed. And I have 3 other orders in my car. I just wanted to drop your bag off and keep going.
Yeah.
I forgot to check your ID. Now I might lose my job. The company is liable. The liquor store that we bought it from might be liable. So it's a really risky transaction.
Yeah.
So these mobile driver's licenses are using the verifiable credentials. So they can send a jot to the delivery app when I'm ready to order to basically make a claim that says, yes, she is 21 or older.
Oh, yeah. Without ever actually having to verify on their own.
Without having
There's
to
a
verify on
trusted
their own.
source.
There's a trusted source.
Oh,
So this is
that's
a
clever. I
trusted
like
source.
this.
And it's privacy preserving. So they don't need to give them my whole ID or anything like that. They don't even need to give them my date of birth. It's like, you need to know that she's 21.
All you need
Yeah.
is a
Boolean.
Boolean.
So that's how that works.
I like it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So does like DoorDash in your state actually just use this mobile ID app, or?
I don't know if they do or not,
Oh,
but yeah,
someone does?
there's companies that connect, and the state has done a really great job. I really think it's a model use case for this technology
Sounds
because
awesome.
with the app, they basically connected to these different software systems, right, that can basically request this information. And not just my mobile driver's license. I have like my COVID vaccination cards in here,
really?
like gun permits, like all of the, like my vehicle registration, like a lot of different key, pieces of documentation right here, very handy in this mobile driver's license app. And they worked with the government to get laws in place to like help with the usage and the adoption, right?
Yeah.
So now in Louisiana, all businesses are required to accept mobile driver's license. You can't say, oh no, I need the
yeah,
physical
don't do
one.
that.
You have to accept it, right? And not only that, I hear people ask me about the cops, because I can show this to the cops, right? If they pull me over for a speeding thing or something, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But if I hand them my phone, now we're getting into other territory
yeah.
where
And it's
they can
unlocked, and now-
search, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we put laws in place for that too, a no-touch policy. So you can scan it, you can eyeball it, but you can't take my phone.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So what if your phone dies?
Okay, somebody asked that actually
good use
yesterday,
case,
like,
yeah.
what is your
Yeah.
phone? So the great thing about it, and some people get a little bit worried about this and like, no, I want my physical ID.
Yeah.
This is not an exclusive or type of situation. So you can still use your physical ID and you have this for like convenience or whatever. So I have
Okay.
both, my physical and my digital.
I kind of
Okay.
like that
Yeah.
because I'm all like, I don't want to carry a wallet. I don't want to carry
Right.
extra stuff. I
Yeah.
love that I can pay for stuff with my watch. I love that
Right.
the phone has a lot of stuff covering in it. How many things do I want to put in my pockets? 0 is what I want to put.
Right.
But I
We're
have
getting
some
there. We're
options.
working
yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I wear the sling bag so I don't have to, because in the desert it's too hot for jackets all the time. So now I got to, But I like that, like, except it feels so incredibly progressive.
It does.
For government to do.
Yeah.
Because everybody believes that technology and government
That's
is always
right.
going to be 10 to 20 years behind.
That's
There's
right.
a bureaucracy along the point,
That's
along
right.
those lines. So it's amazing that they can actually, like, make this happen, show other states that look how easy this can be.
Exactly. And California just came out with theirs as well. And they did a hackathon with businesses to say, like, show us, what you would be able to do with this sort of technology. Because there is like a kind of chicken and egg problem when it comes to adoption.
Yep.
So the governments are like, okay, well, if I go all out and invest in this, how do I get businesses to accept it? And the businesses are like, well, we're not going to accept it until, there's a significant percentage of the population that actually uses this.
Yeah.
So now you even have Apple and Google with their wallets getting very heavily involved.
Yeah,
And so they're starting to like push really hard and help governments to get this stuff set up.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that, like the impetus there. And it is like very much a snowball effect too. Like once there start to be like a few very successful use cases, it just kind of goes and goes and goes from there. So, in a way, I'm alluding to technologies like this, legalization of marijuana. Should we get crazy? I'm gonna get a little political.
We
got
get
the whiskey
crazy.
out. Let's do it.
We
Yeah.
could get crazy. I got
Because
some
that's
crazy
another
stories.
thing. I love
Okay.
crazy stories.
I don't know
like-
how crazy y'all want to get. I
Oh, man,
don't want Todd to
we're
bring his-
unedited, so
Okay.
Yeah. Well, listen, Angie, I
Yeah.
know you listen to the podcast.
we don't want
all
to
the
make
time,
Todd upset.
and then you
but
can, you can push this level.
Yeah.
You can push this a little bit.
we want to
So it's
be
totally
welcomed
fine.
back here.
Yeah, I do
So
want to
let's
come
not-
back.
Yeah.
I do want to
Well,
come back.
don't go like we can't bring a bong out right now or anything like that. Don't
Bring
do
a
that.
what?
A
No.
bong or something. I don't know. Is that what?
bong?
Bong. Oh, or a
Oh,
bong.
to
smoke-
Yeah,
to
bong is
smoke
bad.
with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
That was a joke.
All right.
Yes.
Anyway,
It's a bad one. I'm
anyway.
right next to you, but with these monitors, it makes it a little harder. And the third one, I start to lose my voice, so there's that too. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll work on it. I'm going to elevate.
Yeah, tell us a story.
All right, I'm going to tell a story.
I'm into
All
it.
right? I need everybody to be a grown-up here. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
we'll try our best.
I'm 47. I'm still working on it. But
Okay, so there was this fascinating story, and I can never talk about it with anybody because I don't want anybody to look at me sideways, but it's like super fascinating.
Yeah.
So with this technology, some folks in Louisiana as well as Texas who are, elected officials, they went really hard on pornography. And they didn't want children exposed to this, right?
Sure,
And so
okay.
they wanted Pornhub to do age verification.
Oh, yeah,
And by us
okay.
having this technology, they said, oh, that's wonderful. So they require Pornhub to verify age, and this is one way they can do it. So the way that it works, even with the liquor case, is if I were to try to order the liquor online, they would then basically kind of talk to my mobile driver's license app and request a credential that says I'm over 21, and it sends it back to that app. So they're in communication with each other. All right. Well, if you get a prompt on your phone that says, oh, Pornhub wants to talk to your mobile driver's license app, people start saying, oh, no. Oh, no.
because then now somebody knows I'm doing it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they shut it down.
Oh, that's
Now,
funny.
remember, I told y'all this is privacy preserving. So
Yeah.
no one is tracking your interactions or anything like that, but people were terrified of that.
I see.
And so usage on Pornhub dropped dramatically in these two states because of that connection.
Yeah.
And so people who work in this space were now arguing that maybe we should put the tokens on device versus in the app. That way, I can share it without you needing to connect to some other application.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
So that's a big discussion right now. But it got so bad and usage plummeted so badly that Pornhub banned Louisiana and Texas. So I think
Okay.
it's still banned right now in those two
Okay.
states. So they're like, look, we're not doing it. We're not doing that whole JSON web token thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
think
thank you.
If you could tie it to the device somehow to where I forget the
It's
acronym.
like
the
cookie,
thing where you can
a better thing.
you can scan your phone and it does it.
Yeah.
what do you call that? The thing on the back, the chip?
The infrared thing? Or
No, it's a built-in chip. But
yeah,
like
I know
if your hardware knew who you are, versus then if your phone's dead and you can like somehow low power still do that too, you could still be like, this is me.
I know what you mean. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, like,
I mean, NFT comes to mind, but it's not NFT.
Yeah.
NFC. That's
yeah.
it. Yeah.
NRC? NFC?
Yeah.
NRC? No, I don't know. But I know what you mean.
RCA?
Yeah.
Best Buy?
The dog and the megaphone.
Anyways,
it's funny if you can't always talk about this story, but this story is a very valid use.
Right,
is.
right.
It is,
Because
yeah.
like vices, I mean, porn is a form of entertainment, at least for some and whatever else. It's realistic. It exists there. And even though maybe the adults don't like it, it's excellent for ensuring that adults only are accessing
That's right.
it.
Yep.
So,
it did solve the problem, just went too far.
yeah, maybe.
But I started wondering, okay, is this an education problem?
I think it's an
because
education
like
problem.
I know that they're not tracking this stuff, but most
I would have
people
no
don't
idea.
know
Yeah,
that, right?
If I ever looked at Pornhub,
Right.
Pornhub, is that what it's called? if I ever looked at that and then asked me like access to something on my phone, I'm freak out. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
that's
you're just like,
weird.
no.
If any app says, hey, would you like to allow me access? Hell no.
Right.
Like, what do you want access for? You don't need that. Like everything will be like, I need, write access to your Gmail, or maybe that's
Yeah.
a lot of
But
this
I mean-
access. And I'm like, what do you need that for?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. There's sometimes you connect things and it sounds like it's going to read right to a bunch
Yeah.
of things than you want.
And I
sure.
I usually am like, I don't care because I've probably already, all my stuff is out. All my data's been stolen enough times. Like, who cares? But
well,
like,
that's true too, though. But
yeah, it's still
it's not a
annoying.
data theft
Yeah.
thing, but it's a more of like, can you broadcast? I'm looking at this. I don't know.
Right.
There's just
And I mean, and think about this app. It has connections to my government data. So my phone, you know what I mean? Exactly who I am. I definitely can relate with people being terrified about, having these two applications talk to one another.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting use case. How do we go about this sort of thing? Like, how do we teach people that it's privacy preserving, make them comfortable enough with this sort of technology? Because you are not used to that. Anytime you've ever had to show your ID in your entire life, you're showing a lot of information, right? I talk about how, imagine you're in line like at a club, and ladies usually relate to this one. But you're in line at a club, you're looking cute, you got your makeup and stuff on, and the bouncer is giving you like googly, creepy eyes. And then when I get to the door, he's like, yeah, let me see your ID, babe. And I got to basically show this man my full name, my home address.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
creepy,
Like, that's creepy. And
Yeah.
that's what we're used to as a society. And now we're saying you don't have to do that anymore. I know that you physically can see all the details on your mobile driver's license, but that's not what we're sharing,
Yeah,
right.
I think
Yes.
it needs to be fully transparent of like, we're only sharing this. We absolutely promise. and also because sometimes it'll say that, but it really doesn't mean that. It's just like you have access. And then there's like a data leak and everything's public and everyone's like, well, I'm upset now. So yeah, it needs to be for real
And now
about
you
like,
can't
this
run
is what
for
you
president,
got.
right?
Well, let's just say it. But it is interesting because like the one aspect is loaded question potential. But shouldn't we trust that it's a government agency making this exchange rather than for-profit entity? That's the one aspect.
The government's
of it is
never done
like-
anything wrong.
Right, I know. It's sort of like, but I mean, they also aren't like pooling your data for profit, which is what many
Theoretically,
companies
yeah,
are doing.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Companies take this,
That's
like
true.
when I'm sharing it with Google or when I'm sharing it with whatever else company, and they request what I think is a lot more read-write access than they may need in order to use my Google login, then I kind of wonder. But in this instance, if it's my state, my resident state, and they're just going to tell, Total Wine whether it's a yes or no on this order, that feels like it should be a little easier. I mean,
Right.
I guess I understand, I understand the Pornhub connotation because, my Pornhub account is not Chuck Carpenter.
Right.
And it's definitely a pseudonym. But I mean, it would be, all these things. Like people make up fake online things, and when you finally tie that real account to real you, that freaks people out in this thing.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think
Real
about that.
government
Anyway.
version of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like What, they just don't understand. Does Pornhub know whether I am 18 or not? Or does Pornhub know now where my house is? So what are they going to mail there and resell? And like,
Sponsored by bagadicks.com.
yeah. I want that sponsor. I've actually messaged them.
I know.
That is a real site. Bagadicks.com is little candy penises. And I have mailed them to people that I want to troll and mess with. So don't give me your address. But anyway, that's the moral of that story. So anyway, I digress. The whole point is that, to a degree, there's a big difference between sharing PII with Joe Schmo company, startup thing, whatever else, or even Google, and your government entity.
That's right.
And I think it's an education thing. I think it's like they don't understand that it is a Boolean response. It isn't me as a response.
But the other thing here is it's JSON. The company writes it as they write it. I happen to know that my particular mobile driver's license app is just going to do a Boolean. It's going to have like a field, age over 21.
Right.
True. And that's the extent of it. But like there could be a company that does put PII in the JSON, which this is a bad thing to do, but who's going to stop you from doing that?
Wait, so in that instance then, that's an interesting point, especially at this time and whatever else, but like if you have a state-by-state interpretation
That's right.
of what is safe versus a federal interpretation, well, then that becomes like kind of a weird thing. If I'm a national company and I'm going to get a different response from, the 14 states that I accept this from, that's a little weird for me to manage, but also I can take advantage of.
That's true. There should be a standard that's the same
so
everywhere.
There is a standards body. So this is a W3C open standard. So there's a body of folks from various companies that are all working together to kind of standardize like the terms and things like that. And of course, this is like a good practice. You don't put PII in there. You be as discreet as possible. Only share information that's requested, nothing more, nothing less. Like these are guidelines, right? But it's not even just governments that are issuing these credentials. It doesn't have to be tied to a mobile driver's license. So we have universities, MIT, issues a digital diploma along with the physical diploma, and that's a verifiable credential.
Is that on the blockchain?
I think theirs is on the blockchain.
It's not even a sarcastic response.
No. I think theirs is.
I do think that's a very accurate deployment of that technology, right?
Now, this technology, you can or cannot use blockchain. So it's tied to a decentralized identifier. And many of the decentralized identifiers are anchored on some blockchain, but my company, we have an open source SDK that issues credentials. We use decentralized identifiers, but we don't use blockchain at all. So,
Interesting.
We use actually BitTorrent technology.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that fun?
That is fun.
You can get a verifiable ID and a copy of the latest bootleg movie. That's pretty great.
One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. Get all my shows.
Oh man, or Photoshop. Photoshop's what I used to torrent all the time.
I mean, I never did that, but I had friends that would bid and steal, borrow, try them
as
out.
Someone with no money, I definitely paid the full Photoshop price to get it.
At all times. I didn't learn and get to know Photoshop by BitTorrenting it.
Yes,
no,
of course not.
Yeah, that's awesome though. I mean, it's kind of like the scary, realistic future to a degree. And it's kind of funny, too, on a couple of ends. One is we freely give our information away to tons of entities without thinking about it.
On a daily basis.
Yeah, and because they don't pop up and say, are you sure you want to give us all your info? And you're like, no, fuck no, I want to watch the thing and get the thing, then what am I going to do? And then in these instances where we're presented with like maybe one level more of who and what we're doing, we're like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe here.
Right.
I do think that in many ways we're like hindered by convenience as a society in that.
For sure.
Yeah, because it's been easy, and if there's just even one barrier put before us that we should consider a choice, and we're all of a sudden like, oh, no, I'm out.
Yeah. I saw someone say even those, in Europe, like, they are really good about, do you want to accept these cookies? They're tracking you, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And so someone else was like, I just always say yes. That's just the easiest thing to do,
It is.
And it is
Yeah,
the
it is,
easiest.
yeah.
It is the easiest.
And you don't know what any of those companies are doing with that data.
Right.
So
You don't.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's private entity versus the government sector. So
yeah. But yeah, all my data's out there, so I don't care.
yeah, I was in masquerading.
I had
years, so.
I had a security clearance. You had to do all that shit, right?
Oh, right,
and then
yes.
like months after I got it, the people that store all that data like packed everything out.
Oh
So I'm
my
like,
God.
well, all my stuff's been out there for a while, so like I don't really care. Like,
I definitely have partaken in like Coinbase, and they were hacked. And
were they? I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, because I
Okay.
get emails.
I didn't know that either.
With the emails you get from MetaMask support about logging
No.
into it. Because
Yeah.
I do the trick where it's like plus where I created the account, so it's like my name plus Coinbase at gmail.com.
Got 'em.
And I
Then you
use
know.
like a bucketed email anyway, and so that's how I
that's
know.
like slightly misspelling your name, like in the old days when you would get mail.
Yeah.
I mean, I still get mail, but I throw it all away. But like
you've got mail.
you slightly misspell your name or give a different name, then you go, I know who sold my information now.
Exactly.
Like,
It's the same thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Fun fact there.
This just in, Whiskey.fund is now open for all your merch needs.
That's right, Robbie. We're hearing reports of hats, sweaters, and t-shirts, as well as a link to join our Discord server.
What's a Discord server?
Just read the prompter, man.
Hit subscribe, leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, and tell your friends about our broadcast.
It really does help us reach more people and keeps the show growing.
All right, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
I'm just thinking, marinating.
Yeah.
Like, well, I was just trying to decide whether like we want to keep going down. Like everybody sold you out, and your information is out there. And
Well,
we're
let's
all
bring it back
screwed.
positive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
so
there's
I'm
some
looking for
more
that.
like good use cases for the verifiable credential.
I do
thing.
believe in this. I think this sounds awesome.
It is.
So.
It's amazing. Like Aruba rolled out a
Jamaica,
program.
ooh, I wanna take you to Aruba, Bahamas. You're wondering how much of those lyrics I know? All of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
They rolled out a program this year that allows travelers to enter the country without a physical passport on
shit.
them
Ooh.
using these verifiable credentials. So I believe this is the first country, so everybody's kind of watching them to see how it's going. But they're loving it. Like they're workers. What do the workers call that work at the like?
Passport control.
CS.
Yeah, those folks. Yeah.
Passport control.
So they're like, oh, this is so efficient. You know, think about like all of these different passports you're getting from all these different countries. You need to one, make sure it's even real. Is this the person? Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, they're loving it. They're saying it's like much more secure and efficient. And then, of course, for the travelers, they're like moving like this. And so that was a good use case. And then I saw, there's pharmacists. They're using it like in medical stuff. So pharmacists were using it to trade like drugs with each other, right?
Okay.
And so there could be like a pharmacist that's in another part of the country that has some drugs that you need, you're low on. And so you want to like maybe trade with them or buy it from them or whatever. And so they were using credentials, one, to verify like this pharmacist is actually legit, but then two, the drugs were legit as well. And so those were like really interesting use cases. And now I start to see like problems everywhere that I want to like kind of apply the tech to. Like, for example, the FTC just put out a new rule saying that companies cannot post fake reviews.
Okay.
Oh, that would be great.
Isn't that
because
great?
That's such a problem.
It is.
It is. I mean,
Biometrically
I want to get
verifiable
the dress,
reviews?
but like, it doesn't really look good. You know, like
Yeah.
are all these
If you
people
wash
lying?
it, does it disintegrate?
Yeah. Or this
This
this diet
works, this
pill,
works.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
everybody is saying, "Oh yeah, I lost 50 pounds in a month," and you're
Yeah.
like, "This can't be real." So which one of these are real and which ones aren't? And so I like the rule from the FTC, but I was thinking like, how are they going to enforce this actually, right?
Yeah.
And so I could see where maybe when you print the receipt, you also have a QR code on the receipt. That's a verifiable credential saying, yes, you made this purchase, right?
okay,
And
that's
so
a good
then if
start,
I want
definitely.
to leave a review, I present that credential back to them. And now we have verified credential. You don't have to have a human being like actually review these reviews to make sure they're real
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
You got to keep humans out of this. 100%, for sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder to a degree, I mean, it sounds like you're obviously more comfortable going down this path of whatever. Do you have global entry?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see, and that's biometric too. So recently, the last times I'd used it, I didn't even have to sit my passport there. They just did my face and they got me, and they're like, yeah, it's you. You may go through.
That's right.
And I was weirded out by that. I was weirded out when I did it with Clear, you know, and I did the fingerprints, they do the biometric, they do like the retinal scan. And I was like, I don't know if I like this. But to the other hand is I only have to not like this if I'm doing something wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. Like,
No,
I
it
am
doesn't
uneasy
feel
about that,
good,
right?
It didn't feel good in the beginning. I still get a little weirded out every time a new one pops up.
Yeah.
But then once I've done it once, I'm like, all right, well, I know them. They know me, obviously, and we're cool. But I don't know if you saw it, some of the airline, like the gates, the actual gates to get on the plane, they started like taking the photo again. And I was like, okay, I don't like this. Like
I got this far. Everyone has my info.
Yeah,
right,
everybody knows me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I don't want to
interesting.
do it again.
Yeah.
How many systems is gonna like take my
Yeah,
picture?
we know we can't trust the airline systems.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
right,
It's
yeah.
one thing, like you said, the government is one thing, but when it's like private companies,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel
That's
a little
the thing.
weird about.
I don't know about Clear having my biometric info.
Yeah,
It's another
yeah.
thing when like Global Entry is saying you're a citizen, we know you.
Well, I trust a for-profit company to hold my data better than the government, honestly.
Really?
The government is pretty bad at doing things usually. But I also
You're not
wonder
wrong.
if you've got, an app or whatever,
It's
is
not
there
an
any
intent,
kind
it's
of...
an efficiency problem, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of like, this is going to sound dumb because I'm not that technical, but like a man in the middle attack of like, I've got this app and they're going to talk, but I'm going to say like, I'm a 16-year-old and I want to buy alcohol. So I'm going to fake that I'm 21 somehow. And like,
Yeah. So the great thing about the verifiable credential, so I hinted at this earlier. So it's basically issued to this decentralized identifier. Now that identifier is different than your username or something like that. The identifier actually has a public and private key pair. So
Okay.
there's some cryptography involved in this, right? And so in order for me to present a credential, I have to prove that I'm the owner of the
Gotcha.
decentralized identifier that it was issued to. And the only way to prove that is with that private key,
Okay.
which should be stored somewhere very secure.
Yeah. Theoretically.
Now, if
Yeah.
someone happens to get a hold of my private key and they have my credentials, they got me.
Yeah,
right?
they got you.
They can
But at
pretend
least
to be
there's
me. They can
barriers.
impersonate me. But you can rotate the private keys on a
Okay.
decentralized identifier. So if I know that someone got me, I can just change it like I
Okay.
would change a password.
all right,
Yeah.
nice. That's
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah.
there's some things there.
Yeah.
And it takes you being slightly proactive. But I think a lot of companies and systems had that sort of like, oh, did you just log in Russia?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I did not.
Yeah, yeah,
Turns
right.
out I'm not there right now. I'll be there next week.
Oh yeah, two-factor auth has saved me so many times.
Yeah, that's
For sure.
right.
It's like, oh, you
Yeah.
logged into your Microsoft account? I'm not.
Actually,
No.
nope.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
it turns
did
out I
not.
haven't touched
Yeah.
that in a while. I love Teams, but not so bad.
Yeah, isn't that your favorite software?
Yeah, Teams is the best chat app. That's my hot take.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that?
No, I did not.
He's
we don't
kidding.
know each
He's
other,
kidding.
but I lie a lot.
Oh,
and make up
okay.
shit. Yeah, I'm sarcastic all the time. This is how I make up for my inadequacies. Yeah. So that. Would anybody else like more coffee, or are we okay?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I have to drive a car over here to pick up this
so
stuff.
you
so
should probably. Yeah, you're already very
yes, Raleigh police, I am good.
late. Who did walk by? I saw her coming up the stairs, and I was like,
Well, good thing we
Coffee.
have
definitely.
opaque cups.
Yeah. Anyway, fun fact. Speaking of government things, we're trying to break the rules. This happens.
Yeah. I guess we got in trouble one time at that conf.
Oh, wow. What y'all do?
Well, we were just told to do whatever we want and deal with the consequences as
We
they
have an
happen.
offline and online story, so
Yeah, yeah,
let's
we
keep
won't-
the online one a little more like we were doing main stage shows, and the third or fourth one, something like that, we saw a prompter about please put the whiskey down,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and ATF, and
Oh, wow.
it all
Yeah,
worked out.
It happens.
Yeah. Robbie just got out last month in Houston. No, that was like
No,
January,
it
not that
it
long
wouldn't
ago.
have been us that got in trouble. It was the venue that
Yeah,
got in
yeah,
trouble.
yeah. It's a
Oh, I
license
see.
thing.
Which is the same
Ah.
thing here. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
which
see,
is
I
why
see.
we've done wine, web, and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Played by the
because-
rules.
Yeah, play by the rules.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Why is Henri looking like fresh, fly all the time? and I'm an old dad who looks like shit all the time. That's what I want to talk about.
I think
A little
you're
bit.
Do
much-
you run? He runs.
No,
That's
I don't
the
run.
secret.
I should run. Do you
You're
do
much
running?
more
I
stylish
don't
than I
run.
am, Chuck. So
Okay, so I'm like +1 you, and he's like +20, both of us.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's clearly knows about style and
Yep.
has like
engaged in that.
picked things intentionally.
Yeah.
Whereas I go, this shirt is the one we're giving to people.
This is comfortable.
and these pants are very stretchy. And that's how I pick my outfit.
Sometimes this is the whatnot portion. where we
Okay.
just talk
Well, we've been
about
kind of
those
whatnot.
things
the
a
whole-
little
well,
bit.
no, pretty technical, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, which I do find the privacy thing and identity in the world, because I think it's like we can't stop that train. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody is staying out of that way. And to a degree, all of this stuff is going to become compulsory as it gets better. It's just kind of like, where we're going.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, it's really stupid. Like,
Say what you really mean.
I made a new YouTube account for my company, right? Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, we need you to like take a picture of your ID and upload it. Y'all, I'm not even kidding. Like, it took me 2 days to get it accepted because I couldn't take a good picture of this
Right.
ID.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the ID is glaring. I'm all over my house trying to find good spot with
Good
lighting
lighting
and
or
like,
something,
oh,
yeah.
you stand here, maybe put a shadow around.
Oh, my
Like, it was
God.
horrible. And the whole time I know about this technology, I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
Now, for
This is
one,
solvable.
I know.
Yeah.
And because these credentials are reusable as well, like Google knows who I am. You know me.
Yeah.
Tell your boy over there at YouTube that Angie is good.
Yeah.
And you can do that with a credential. So if they verify my identity once, they could say verified by Google.
Yeah.
You know, as
Totally.
a credential that I then could keep in my digital wallet. And then when YouTube and all these other like affiliate companies need to know this, I can just give them this JSON web token.
Yeah, Clear is kind of doing that. You can verify
Yeah,
yourself
they're
with
getting-
Clear on
they're-
LinkedIn.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're getting into this whole credential business.
Yeah.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that. I
Yeah,
don't wear
it
my
did take me
Verify on
457 times of scanning my ID,
Oh.
but I got it.
Yeah.
I do have an account with them because I did it once at the airport. I can't remember why. When they were like, even like pre-check was super long. And they're like, if you want Clear, come on, first time is free. And so I did it. And it's free with Amex now or something now. But anyway, I did all the things. And then in retrospect, I thought about it a little more. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to have that account. But they
Well, if
already
you
have
have
my
pre-check
data.
already, it doesn't save you a ton of time.
It doesn't.
But
Yeah. But in this case, it really was. It was like, oh, it was doing my little, it's pre-check. I'm not checking bags. It's 45 minutes. I just roll up. And I was like, oh, fuck. This is a little different. And then,
save me.
yeah, this dude saved me this time. And then I kind of thought about it from there. But
That goes back to that convenience, right? Like, you're
Yes.
like, oh no, I need
We
help.
are.
Here's all my data. Get me through the line.
and then if I go back and I have a little like, oh, maybe I didn't think that through.
Yeah.
I have a little
Just-
regret.
I
there.
will sign a thing that says I access Pornhub as I walk through.
Yeah, exactly. I just used Robbie's information. I was like, yes, are you Robert
Yes.
Wagner? I have his, whatever. I got a picture of his ID.
Yeah,
and
this
his-
is my address.
Yeah, and here it is. And it worked out. So no one still knows I access it. It's all right.
So, I was looking at your stuff earlier. I
Okay.
want to know, what is Web 5?
Yeah. Okay. So Web 5 is basically our open source libraries that do this thing that I talked about, the verifiable credential, the decentralized identity, and also has decentralized storage as well. The name is kind of tongue in cheek.
Skipped Web 4.
Yeah.
It was kind of more like, remember I told you we don't do the blockchain thing?
Yeah.
But we do decentralization. And so people just like kind of assume it's all blockchain. And so, our thought was, what if we could do Web3 stuff, but with like Web2 technology? So it's more like Web2 plus Web3 equals Web5.
Oh.
Okay.
Kind of
Ah,
thing.
so 3 plus 2. Yeah. All right.
That's good.
So yeah, that's what Web5 is.
Okay.
But yeah, there's
Okay.
open source libraries that people can use if you want to like issue credentials. You can do so. The thing about issuing credentials, so like I said, this is open source. Anybody can issue credentials. I can issue you a credential right now that says you're the president of the United States. Forget
am,
voting.
aren't I?
You're going to be the president of the United States.
Everyone
right?
early voted.
Yeah.
Charles
Yeah.
William
Turns out.
Carpenter
So
III
this is who
the
won,
winner.
right? But the thing is,
Spoiler.
who am I to make such a claim? So that's where it comes in when you're accepting these credentials. It's like, who made this claim?
Is it a trusted source?
And are they a trusted source to make such a claim, right?
That's an interesting point.
And so you can even specify this stuff. So like the person who verifies it, before they get the credential, to request the credential, they need to provide a different JSON, which is a definition of what are you expecting here? What do you want? And so they would provide, like, I need to know if she's over 21. I'm looking for, like, basically a term that says this with a Boolean value. And you say, okay, yeah, sure. And you issue the credential to meet that requirement or whatever. But you can also specify, like, okay, let's say, like, I'm a Java champion, right? No, let's not take that. I am one, but let's take that one away.
Okay.
So I'm certified in Java. That comes from Oracle certification.
Yes.
Now, anybody could, like,
Say that.
do
yes,
one.
right?
Anybody could say it, and anyone can, like, issue these things, right?
Yeah.
But what if I'm saying, like, no, I want people who are certified in Java, but it only can come from Oracle. So that I can put, like, Oracle's decentralized identifier and say the credential must be issued by this ID.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Right,
so
yeah.
and that can be an array. You know, if there's a couple of folks that do that sort of thing, you say, okay, any one of these, that would be okay with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, you did a great job of answering what was going to be my next question.
Okay.
As soon as you said, like, that you had this open source at Revo Collective around
Right.
this. Because I would wonder, like, oh, this is great for governments and states, and, like, what's sort of the barrier to entry?
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask next is sort of like, I'm starting a business.
Mm-hmm.
I need some of these things. What would have me lean towards these technologies, maybe when I'm early days versus the government or versus Uber or whatever else?
Let's take the reviews one.
Yeah.
Because that's one that's, like, applicable to a lot of businesses,
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of shit to clean up exactly with that.
Yeah,
because-
exactly. So let's say, like, I'm just a company that sells stuff, and I want to issue these credentials because if the FTC comes and audits me and they say, are these reviews real? I can say, yes, I actually issue credentials upon receipt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I get the Web 5 SDK. To issue a credential, we have a package in there called Web 5 credentials. So with that, I use the verifiable credential class. I say .create, and then I just specify, like, what is my decentralized identifier? I do need the decentralized identifier of the person.
Yeah.
So with that, there's a little bit of a hurdle. Like, one, you need to kind of understand that. You might need to create the credential for your user. Do you give it to them? Then you just kind of keep it in a database with their login or something like that? I don't know. So that's something people need to think through. But other than that, I just then issue it. I sign it with my private key of my decentralized identifier. I get a jot back from that. And I just kind of encode that as a QR code on the receipt. So it's pretty straightforward. I think probably the hardest part would be, like, the management of the ID.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because those can change over time, right? If I decide at some point I want to go to the centralized issuer of the credentials, I can say, I'm concerned about security. I just want to reject all these credentials and restart the process of each of those places. What would that look like if I just felt like well, like if
My private key's different now. Let's
No,
go.
Right,
no,
the
so
private
your
key is
private
different,
key is
or-
different, but that's okay. You keep the same ID.
Yeah.
So with the ID, you also
okay.
have this URI, and the URI is the part that goes in the credential.
Okay.
So that's just like, that would be if that was your username or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the private key would be like, that's your password.
Yeah.
So you change your password as much as you want, but the
there's
username
this in
stays.
here.
Oh,
and
okay.
So it's a little bit different. So if this is compromised or this is compromised, you're kind of fine. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. People are
Okay.
gonna have the username part.
Yeah,
The-
yeah.
Public
like,
keys
that's
are
okay.
free.
Yeah,
And
give
public
those
key,
away.
they'll
Yeah.
have your public key.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, then there we go. I don't know why we're all not doing this.
Yeah.
So we just need more uptake. We're on the precipice of this technology,
Yeah.
right? So it's like fair to say that like something we could look into. Yeah, because I think like across the board, like authentication is an interesting challenge that we, for whatever reason, seem to be solving it by deferring it to SaaS companies. And I don't know that that's solving the problem for individuals concerned with privacy. It's solving it for developers who want ease of creating authentication flows.
Yeah.
you know, now you're trusting yet another company, but this part of your company, which is, you know, identity and permission being tossed off does seem kind of crazy to me. But hey, that's kind of where we're at. A lot. So like this is a way to not only like say I can home grow my authentication, and I can actually simplify it and trust it more by using a system such as this.
That's right. That's right. And I think the stronger use cases right now, because there is a problem with interoperability between systems. So if I issue a credential, I don't know, let's say like MIT.
Yep.
If they call their credential like, oh, this type of credential is called academic credential. Right? And let's say another school calls theirs education credential. And someone else calls theirs, I don't know, university credential.
Right.
So now if I'm a system that just wants to make sure that you like
are a student.
Yeah, a
I
student
just need
or something.
student discounts. I want to verify student discounts.
Or like a job thing. You got to show like you graduated from, you got a degree somewhere.
Yeah.
And you want to supply that credential. Well, you can break the verification program by like not having the exact terms that they're looking for. And so there's a problem there. So I think the strongest use cases right now, the standards body is working on that piece, by the way. But the strongest use cases right now is like the reuse of the credentials within your own system. So that's why I think the reviews is a strong one.
Yeah,
because I issued it, you're going to give it back to me.
Yeah, that's
right?
all I want to know.
It.
Is you were the person who bought this verified purchase.
Yeah, and like at my company, like I said, we're working on cross-border payments. Yeah. And so we're using credentials for like KYC, know your customer. And so, for example, if I'm trying to do cross-border payment, we want to do this so that like there may be a back-end like liquidity provider that's available in multiple apps. So I don't want to do KYC anytime that back-end provider is in an app. Like say I'm using Venmo or Cash App or whatever. If it's the same like service provider on the back end, they could issue me a credential the first time they do KYC in like say Venmo or something. I hold that, and if I see them again in like PayPal, then I can just like have that credential provided again. You know who I am, and we don't have to do the whole KYC flow.
Yeah, we don't have to do cookies, first of all.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have opted into a purchase, and now I have an identification that isn't stored in the browser per se, and isn't necessarily like shareable maybe across experiences based on that particular cookie. So that's actually kind of smart.
Yeah.
It's a way to sort of solve like this cookie complexity.
Yeah. And the cookie thing is per app though, right? And so this is a way to go like across apps.
Yeah, be more ubiquitous.
A cookie that's cross
truly
domain.
cross domain, truly cross. Yeah. That's the thing, is the cookie issuer is scoped and greater scope with less concern on specificity too, though.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes it crumbles. But anyway,
on that note,
so I do want to steer us. We've been talking a lot about tech. If you were not in tech,
oh wow, what would I do?
What would you do? And this could be, you don't have to possess the skill. If you could magically get a skill,
now. Come on now.
I'm just saying, like if there's a thing you'd love to do that it couldn't happen or could, either way, what sounds cool? What do you want to do that's not tech?
Okay, I really love teaching. I was an adjunct professor for a couple of years. I just really love teaching, which is probably why I am in DevRel now.
Right.
So maybe something like that. I also love to cook.
Okay.
So I could see myself with a little small diner or something like that.
Yeah.
Every time I cook something that's like really good, my husband goes, oh, this would go on like the Angie's Diner menu, So maybe something like that I think would be great. Now, a skill I don't have, but I wish I did, is singing.
Okay.
So I love to sing, but I cannot sing.
You're right.
And everybody in my family can sing except for me.
Okay.
So I didn't get that skill, but I could see myself like singing.
Interesting.
Nice.
Not
Maybe
like
you
a Beyonce kind of thing, like probably a soloist in the church choir or something like that.
Or how about this? Combine the two. You could sing at your diner.
At my diner? Oh, wow.
Where you just like
It's a piano bar.
Because the stress of like, is this financially viable or whatever else? just like
Yeah.
just get rid of all of that.
Yeah.
You just get to do what you
Do what
love
I
and
wanna
enjoy.
do, right?
And
Yeah.
you're like cooking, you're singing, and people
Oh,
are waiting
wow,
out there,
and they're having
they're
a great
like,
time.
I would be like, I want to go to there.
Yeah.
I want some Angie's Diner food.
Yeah.
I want
her
you
sing
to
while it's coming
verify me on the
out.
way in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know,
Yeah.
that's how you get in. But everything else beyond that is just like simple and old school.
Oh,
and
that's
it's-
nice.
Yeah, I like that combination.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love a good diner.
Yeah, I love
Diners
diner
are the
food.
best.
Absolutely.
Right?
I like
I'm
casseroles.
upset
I
that
like
we don't
diners.
have Waffle House near me.
Yeah,
it's a problem.
He talks about this all the
I
time.
hate Waffle House.
Oh, spicy taste.
Why?
Right.
What do you hate
What
about
do you
it?
hate?
I
it?
think
Doesn't
it's
have to be your favorite.
grimy.
Yeah, well,
No, I
that's-
just think
that's
the
the
whole
charm.
No, I don't know. Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. Like we went in college one time,
Yeah.
and the table that they set us at was dirty.
Yeah.
And so I'm like flagged the waitress, and I'm like, "Hey, the table's dirty," and she tosses me an even dirtier rag so that I can clean the table
Oh,
myself.
okay, that's a bad
I
experience.
just
Yeah,
never
that's
got
a bad.
over that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a bad experience. I
That's
don't
just
think that's
disrespectful.
So
common.
like,
I haven't
yeah,
had that.
this place is grimy.
Yeah, grimy and dirty.
Yeah. I've seen a few Waffle Houses will have some problems, but
Yeah.
overall,
Overall,
it's
into
all
it.
fake chemicals, and I love the taste.
And you like the
it is so good.
consistency.
You know, I went to the Waffle House this year. This was like my first time back since that college episode.
mhm.
I didn't want to go, but guess who invited me to go to the Waffle House, y'all?
Henri.
Who?
Kelsey
No.
Hightower.
This guy is
Oh.
not going to Waffle
No,
House.
he's
Look how
definitely
healthy
not
he is.
no,
yeah.
he's not eating
Yeah.
that.
He's not even. But Kelsey Hightower.
So Kelsey Hightower is like so down to earth. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
And so he like, yeah, you want to go get something to eat? Waffle House right around the corner. I'm like, Kelsey, I hate Waffle House. And it's like, no, man, let's go to Waffle House. And I'm like, only for Kelsey would I like go to Waffle House. So
Right.
we went. I didn't die. So
Yeah, smothered and covered, right?
I love it. You can get a ton of stuff in your hash browns. I get the blueberry waffles.
Yeah.
They give you toast, which I'm watching my weight, so I don't eat the toast.
okay.
Yeah, of course.
All
Yeah,
right.
everything else.
But I eat
That's
all the
one you
rest.
cut
It's
out.
so good. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
What would be okay? I'm gonna do one more follow up on that. So, Angie's Diner.
Yeah.
What's the staple?
The staple fish.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I want to switch up. You know how you go like, oh, Mondays we have this kind of thing. I think I want
Blue
to do
plate
that.
special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one thing I think I would have that would be a special. Everybody get excited.
Yeah.
We have this dish in New Orleans that's called yakami.
Okay.
Never
I'm not
heard of it.
familiar.
YAKAMEIN. And
Okay.
it's basically like a Cajun ramen kind of dish.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's like
sounds good already.
noodles with like a nice rich broth. You can put like seafood in there, beef. And so I'll do mine with like a shrimp. You know, I do ribeye steak on mine. Dice it up, you
What?
know.
Yeah,
And
man.
then you got that spice on it.
Yes.
You know, you toss a little boiled egg on top, some
Oh,
chives.
yeah.
And
It
then
sounds
it's like,
phenomenal.
yeah, yes. I think that's
Yeah.
what people be excited.
I want to go to that.
Yeah.
Let me know when you open that.
Okay.
I guess next time I go to New Orleans, I know what I need
Yeah,
to
hit
order.
me up.
'cause,
I'll make
yeah,
it for you.
sure. Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
I would.
I was just
Done.
there like a month ago. I didn't
really?
have any
Yes.
idea that this was on the table.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, next time, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were there for a wedding, and so it was a mostly family thing. We did a second line from the wedding to
Yeah, of course.
the reception.
That was nice, wasn't
It
it?
was nice, yeah. Yeah, there was a big guy on stilts that my son really loved. The guy on the
Oh,
stilts.
yeah, that's
and
fun.
and the stilts had like little baby shoes on the bottom. It was so cool.
Aw.
That's where they all go. You know, in recycling, they just all go to the stilts guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's helpful.
yeah. All right, well, we're about at time here. Is there anything you want to plug or mention before we end?
No, thanks for having me. This was fun. If anybody wants to reach out to me, my website is angiejones.tech. I've been trying to do LinkedIn more these days, so you can like reach out to me there. I still live on Twitter. I'm one of the last people there.
No, we're
We're
still
there.
there. We're
Oh,
still
okay.
there.
Oh,
We like
great.
it.
Yeah. So y'all can reach out. Yeah. Y'all reached out to me there.
Twitter is just you
It's
can't
just too
replace
fun.
it.
It's- I
Until
know.
someone gets it right, I can't.
Yeah,
can't,
you're right.
can't leave. Yeah.
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 So much
Yeah.
popcorn there. It's
It
Yes.
really is, you know?
I don't know. I like it. So
Yeah.
excellent. And also,
Cool.
don't forget about the Web 5.
That's right. Web 5 SDK. So you can go to tbd.website. Click on the developers part. And so there's a developer website. We have the links to the SDKs. We have docs and tutorials.
I'm
and
in. This
stuff
is
like
fun.
that.
This is
Yeah.
like sounds fun to
Yeah.
explore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Be curious what you all come up with.
Yeah. We'll give it a try. Yeah.
Automatic Pornhub login.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, on that note, we're all done. Yeah, thanks everyone. See you next time.
You've been watching Whiskey Web and Whatnot, recorded in front of a live studio audience.
What the fuck are you talking about, Chuck?
Enjoyed the show? Subscribe.
You know people don't pay attention to these, right?
Head to whiskey.fun for merch and to join our Discord server.
I'm serious. It's like 2% of people who actually click these links.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review and tell your friends about the show.
All right, dude, I'm out of here.
Still got it.